A reading from the Gospel according to Luke. Meanwhile, when the crowd gathered in thousands so that they trampled one another, Jesus began to speak first to his disciples. Beware of the yeast of the Pharisees, that is, their hypocrisy. And nothing is covered up that will not be uncovered, and nothing secret that will not become known. Therefore, whatever you have said in the dark will be heard in the light, and what you have heard whispered behind closed doors will be proclaimed from the housetops. I tell you, my friends, do not fear those who kill the body, and after that can do nothing more. But I will warn you whom to fear. Fear him who, after he has killed, has authority to cast into hell. Yes, I tell you, fear him. Are not 5 sparrows sold for 2 pennies? And yet not one of them is forgotten in God's sight. But even the hairs on your head are all counted. Do not be afraid. You are of more value than many sparrows. The word of the Lord. There's a phrase that goes back to at least the Middle Ages. The proof is in the pudding, or the proof of the pudding is in the eating. The idea that to prove something, the proof of something is to mean it's tested. So think of something as being fireproof, right? It means it's been tested to make sure that it's impervious to fire. So if you're going to test the pudding, the dessert, whatever it is that you're making, and you're going to test it to see if it's right, if it's true, the way you do that is by tasting it, right? That's where the phrase "the proof is in the pudding" comes from, and I think that's the phrase that comes to my mind when I'm hearing Jesus talking to his disciples in the midst of this crowd, trying to make sense of how this is all going to turn out. And I dare say, I think we are also kind of in that place in a world where we're wondering, what is this all about? What does this life mean? What is our world going to come to? How will all things resolve themselves in this world? And it's a great mystery to us. And for many of us, it can be hard to live in uncertain times. And it's in the midst of that uncertainty, not knowing how all things are going to turn out, that Jesus has some words of wisdom here. And I hear it as kind of like the proof is in the pudding. You'll see how this will all turn out in the end by how it tastes, by how it comes out. He has on the one hand the Pharisees that he's using as an example to say, here you have a bunch of people who are judging you, condemning you, saying you're not measuring up. You're not measuring up to their standards, and so therefore they are condemning you. And then you have, on the other hand, Jesus, God, who is saying, even the lowliest of sparrows, even the littlest of things, the hairs on your head, even those things matter and are of value and are of worth. And so, at the end of the day, when you try those out, which one will prevail? And it's pretty clear to Jesus. So while we're living in a time in which sometimes it seems like, yes, we live in a world with pain, we live in a world with hurt, we live in a world where things sometimes are unfair and unjust, and we don't know how this is all going to turn out in our human existence. One thing we can rest in is that Jesus knows how all things are going to turn out. God knows how all things should be and will be. And he points out it's not going to be the way of condemnation and judgment. It's not going to be the way of other people casting condemnation and judgment in this world, saying, you failed to measure up to me. You failed to measure up to my standard. That's not the way it's going to be. No, the way it's going to be is the way Jesus values, the way Jesus sees worth. The littlest, the lowliest, it doesn't matter how small it is, even a little sparrow, even just the hairs on your head, are of great value to God and will not be condemned, will not be judged, or rather, will be judged worthy. So the proof is in the pudding, and from that perspective, as far as God is concerned, God will make sure that at the end of all these things, it tastes the way God intends it to, which is good, which is pure, which is holy, in which all things are made well. Amen.